Good morning, people in the south. Good day, people in the west. People in the east. Good afternoon, people in the north. Good evening. I hope everyone is okay. I hope everyone is good. Um, my ass looks a little bit swollen, but because I slept a bit late last night, but I'll be okay. Um, Today I want to go straight to the sectors that makes up economies. More specifically the economy where I live in South Africa, and the fact that there's something called innovation as opposed to innovation. So there's a difference between innovation and innovation. It's two different things. So mostly we used to innovation as opposed to innovation. If you want to know more about what innovation is, go back to some of the episode from this channel and learn more about innovation. But it's basically the change that we bring about, the products that serves and build our GDP and economy, that enhances the performance of our economy. And innovation, on the other side, it's um, a process where certain things are taken out of the product. The day-to-day product that you normally know and used to buying, procuring, those day-to-day products, there's certain features, there's certain benefits that are taken out, and you get that product without those features and benefits and accessories with an increased price. So they take the price up and reduce some of the features and the accessories. That is called innovation, ANN, ovation, as opposed to innovation, INN. So innovation example is a good example with cell phones. Today we're buying cell phones without a charging adapter, without earphones, without some screen protectors, some without pouches. In the olden days, a cell phone came through as an innovation with a charger, a charging cable, earphones, screen protector or additional screen protector, a pouch, and so on and so forth. Today, most of those things are taken out. You only get the phone, the charger, the charging cable, not a charger. You get a phone, a charging cable, and that's it. And that is called innovation. And where is the price? Went up. So they take the price up, but they remove some of the accessories that's used to it. That is called innovation. So you get less from what you used to get or used to getting when you buy a certain product for more price. So people need to understand the difference between the two. It's not the same things. So there's a difference between innovation and innovation. So sometimes we need to innovate certain products in the market or in certain sectors. Sometimes we need to innovate certain products or certain services in different markets. You understand? So as I'll be dwelling much on and around the economies and the GDPs or what makes them up, I'll be touching base on innovation and innovation here and there. Just that you understand what the difference is. So we are in the south. It's winter. Actually, we're heading towards the end of the end of winter in the southern Africa, and we are one of the developing countries as South Africa. So a developing country is a country where there's a new development in terms of infrastructure, in terms of technology, in terms of this and that. So we are no stranger to that. We are one of those, and as such, we have an abundance of opportunities in this economy or in this developing economy. So we shouldn't be we shouldn't be out there looking for jobs per se. I, I I'll need you guys to understand exactly what I'm trying to say. If you live in a developing country, you have the highest chance of starting a business that is gonna develop into one of the strongest hold of one of the businesses that is going to contribute to the GDP of that developing country. So the moment you hear that your country is a developing country, you must know from that point going forward that you have an avalanche of opportunities to start a business that is gonna be part of the development of the entire country. You have the highest chance of building a successful business, so to speak, in simple terms, because the country is developing. There's too many opportunities, an avalanche for us to choose what we can work on, what we can do, what we can develop, what service can we bring in into the midst of the entire developing country or the entire development of the economy. So I'm going to touch on a couple of sectors that you can play a role in terms of growing your business, in terms of maybe looking into the sectors where you can look for problems or come up with ideas that can solve specific problems in those sectors, because these are the core sectors, the core economical sectors or economic sectors where most of our GDP and economy is built on, you know. So look out for the following core sectors, and you can come up with ways and to develop your solution identifying process, you know. And give or take, each of this sector has got a problem. Actually, many problems. Each of the following sectors has got too many problems because we are a developing country. I'll give you an example with our neighboring country, Botswana. Our neighboring country, Zimbabwe. These are examples of developing countries, and there's plenty of opportunities in those countries. I heard that Botswana, Dubai government is going to develop Botswana. I'm not sure if how true that is, but I just heard from rumors from the streets that Dubai is going to develop Botswana into a country that looks closer to one of those UAE countries, UAE cities. So I'm not sure how true that is. I'll verify and I'll give you more on that. So I'm going to give you sectors where you can actually go in and start developing solutions, because obviously there's too many problems in those solutions. Number one, we have agricultural sector. Agricultural sector is a sector where we mostly get food. I do not think there's anything that we consume. This includes the pharmaceuticals that comes from anywhere else except in agriculture. Yes, water, we might say we're not getting water from agriculture, with exception of water, of course. Everything else that we consume, that we eat, it's coming from agriculture. So that sector alone has got issues already. I haven't even went deeper into other sectors. Agriculture, there's too many issues in agriculture. So if you were sitting there and not knowing what to do, where to start, you don't really have to grow some kind of food for the country, for the developing country. You don't really have to grow chickens or rabbits or grow some kind of livestock that's going to produce meat or anything like that. You can look into the people who are growing those livestock. If they have challenges, and close those gaps, for example. But food security is a problem in all these developing countries. This includes Botswana, this includes Zimbabwe, this includes South Africa. We have serious food security challenges. And if you go and look into the entire sector, stretch the entire sector, look into who's doing what, who's producing what, and listen to what these people are saying and complaining about, you're going to pick up a whole lot of gaps. Then follow the process that I shared with you in the previous episodes about how to identify problems and how to come up with solutions for that. Agricultural sector. This is the sector that supplies the entire country with food. There's too many problems in this sector, ladies and gentlemen. And give yourself a chance to sit down and just evaluate the entire sector. Go through its legs, its fingers, its hair. You will pick up a whole lot. Start from head to toe. You'll pick up a whole lot of problems. And then you'll just choose which problem to solve. What solution are you going to come up with? More specifically, the agri-tech part of it. We're still using the traditional way of producing food in this country, the traditional way of farming in this country. There's so many farmers who are now putting food on our tables that are still using traditional ways of making food or producing food in this country. So we have an avalanche again of opportunities in the agri-tech under the agricultural sector. So look out for that sector. The next one is environmental sector. The environmental sector is a sector that looks after our environment, looks after how we live as a people and animals, plants, and stuff like that. We know what environmental is. I'm gonna have in one of the upcoming episodes, I'm gonna have a fully fleshed episode that is going to focus mainly on environmental sector, where I'm going to share information around it. It might even be a couple of episodes. I'm going to share a lot of education around environment and the environmental aspects of it, and what is it that we are doing right, what is it that we're doing wrong, the fact that we are part of the environment. Sometimes we think we're not part of the entire environment. We think we are outside the environment. We think we are looking after the environment that is supposed to be looking after us. So I'm going to dwell much on that. But look out for that sector, environmental sector. And the biggest issue in the environmental sector is around pollution. It might be raw water pollution, rivers pollution, ocean pollution. So raw water is the water that we drink. It's the water that we drill and supply to households for drinking. So all the drinking water that we consume, it's called raw water from the ground. We're polluting most of that water. And I'm going to share issues around that in the next few episodes when I start to talk about environmental. Now, look out for that. Rivers pollution. Our rivers are not clean. Our rivers are highly polluted. And ocean acidification as well. Ocean acidification, it's a part where our oceans are being acidified by a lot of CO2. CO2, it's carbon. A lot of carbon gets absorbed by the oceans, and because it's too much levels of carbon, the ocean becomes acidified. Acidified. So ocean acidification is a problem. You can actually take out only that aspect, that you are going to start a business that is just going to entirely focus on ocean acidification and come up with ideas to bring about solutions that's going to deal with ocean acidification. Study that, how it works, and bring about solutions that's going to solve that problem. ocean acidification. So it's mainly caused by high levels of carbon dioxide that is mostly generated by humans. And as we generate the CO2, it needs to be absorbed. And what absorbs that CO2? It's being absorbed by the oceans. And as the oceans absorbs this carbon dioxide, then the pH level of the water becomes it fluctuates. It goes up and down. I'll dwell much on this. The seawater becomes acidic or becomes alkaline instead of being neutral. And then when it becomes acidic, it tends to be toxic for the life that lives under the ocean. When it becomes alkaline, it tends to be acidic as well, or not a good environment for the life that is under the water to prevail. So we need to understand those things. That is another sector where you can pick up one aspect and build an innovative solution and grow from that. So the next sector is energy. We all know in South Africa that we've got issues. I know we're supplying our neighboring countries, the likes of Botswana, the likes of Zimbabwe with electricity. Mozambique? I'm not sure about Mozambique. I know Lesotho, we are generating power from water from Lesotho, and we supply Zimbabwe with some of this power that we generate. We supply some parts of Botswana with the power that we generate. And we also supplying ourselves as a country, but we have a lot of issues around energy in South Africa. And that as well, stop looking at the current problem or the biggest problem, energy problems that we have. Look at the small problems that drills down to from the bigger problem, which mostly displaced or not displaced, gets displayed to us as load shedding. Look at how load shedding drills down to us as the users of this product or the energy. Look at how the problem cascades down to our level. Take it from there. You'll at some point pick up that there's this gap, there's this part which I can squeeze myself in, because it's a problem when it comes to this and that. So I can come up with a solution to close that particular gap in the energy sector. You don't need to go all out and build the entire power station. I mean, even government had to borrow money to build the power station. So who are you to build a power station, one man? So you just have to go down the entire value chain and look at one aspect that you can take out in terms of energy and come up with a solution for that. A lot of people are struggling. There's still households in South Africa where people still don't have electricity or do not have sufficient supply of electricity. So it's an entire opportunity for entrepreneurs around this developing country where we can, hence I said we have an avalanche of problems where we can go and harvest some gaps, come back and offer solutions to those gaps. The next one is mining. Mining is not a problem per se, but because we are a country that is blessed with several minerals underground, the entire country, the entire landscape of our country is blessed with different types of minerals, and as such we attract a lot of mining investments. And there are problems in the mining sector itself. People are dying underground in the mines because the safety aspect of it has got gaps. People go to work with stress. You can come up with a way to orientate these people around social orientation around depression and stuff like that, so that when they go to work, when they go to the mine, they go with clear minds, clear hearts, without depression, without stresses, without just drill down to that level and understand how the sector works. come up with a way that you can close that particular gap. Just simple as that. As long as you prepare yourself, that you emotionally prepare yourself that you're gonna jump on this train, and come rain or sunshine, you are on this train. You're riding on this train. Whether the train is flying or it doesn't matter. You're gonna ride on this train and run with this thing. Then the next sector that still opens an avalanche of opportunities is the textile sector. The textile sector is a sector where we're getting things like this. I see a lot of people are coming into the space of designing and manufacturing. They call it what do they call it? They make these things from wool. Like they knot these things from wool. What do they call this thing? There's a word that they use for it, man. My cousin is doing these things. I'm going to advertise her products. You'll see them in the next couple of days. I'm going to show you her products. Crochet. Yeah, they're doing crochet or crochet. They're doing crochet. So they're knitting this new nice hats, and then that's textile sector. They've identified the gap, and they're closing that gap. So crochet is typical example of such. And we have industries that are producing these things. We have industries that are producing these things. We have industries that are producing the entire household textile material. Talk about kittens. Talk about blankets. Talk about we never even think of such things. All we think about is if I can start with archer, and then I can sell 5 baguettes a day, if I can start with scones. There's many other that you can explore, So look into the textile sector. There's actually too many opportunities, especially for women in the textile space. Look into that and then find gaps. We've been using these kind of things for so long. Since I was born, we've been wearing stuff the same way. There's a zip, you put this on, and then and then why don't you come up with one that has a zip on the other side? That's innovation. Why don't you come up with a hat that you wear on the neck and then you pull it up? That's innovation, Why don't you come up with a jacket that doesn't have a zip? You take away the zip and you take away the whatever buttons, but somehow I'm able to put it on. That's innovation. You take things out and then you're just selling the exact same thing that we know, but with innovation style, something like that. So there's too many that we can actually gravitate on and come up with innovative ideas and actually build sustainable businesses, create sustainable jobs from such. The next one is obviously transportation. There's a problem in this one. Transportation, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem in this country in terms of transportation. Uber and Bolt, InDrive, they operating in urban areas. They don't operate in rural areas. People in the rural areas come 6 o'clock in the evening. There's no transport to anywhere. The taxis stop operating. The buses stop operating. You don't even have maxis. During the night, there's no transportation in rural areas at all, completely. The transportation, guys, there's no economy without transportation. There is no economy that exists in any country without the transportation sector. It's one sector that we need to take seriously, because this is the sector where a lot of people are into trucks. The trucking space is already saturated. Everyone wants to buy a truck, put the truck in the mines because we copy each other. But look at a space where in a rural village, there's completely no transport from 6 o'clock in the evening. The next available transport will be available the next morning at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock to maybe take people who works in town to town. That is a huge space that you can close. Why can't you start a transportation business that only operates at night? You transport people at night. Because there's no market at night, you think it's not going to work. It's not going to work because the market that does not exist during the night is due to the fact that there's no transportation. Because economy without transportation does not exist. There is no such. You can never have an economy without transportation. So create transportation for that duration. For that duration, you will see an economy coming through. You will start seeing an economy coming up, emerging, because there's transportation. That is one sector that is being overlooked. And when you start talking about transportation, people start thinking about taxis, buses, trucks, and that's it. We stop thinking. We stop, there's too many. This next one is telecommunications. We're not really advanced in terms of telecommunications as a country, as a developing country. We're not really advanced. So there's too many opportunities in that space as well, in terms of the way we communicate, the way we look at how much we spend on data. Look at how much we spend on data. We spend so much money just to keep yourself connected. That on its own gives you an opportunity to pick up a problem. Data is expensive. That is a problem. Sit down and find a way to squeeze yourself in that gap. That is problem. People cannot communicate. For an example, I'm just gonna give an example from top of my head as a mere idea. Come up with a way to offer free, not free, buy Wi-Fi, mobile Wi-Fi gadgets. Take those things to the rural villages, make those Wi-Fi gadgets available, or you can install a Wi-Fi in different points around the villages. And then anyone who wants to use that service comes to you. Then you give them login details. They pay you a monthly subscription. Then you pay the Wi-Fi service provider. That's it. Then a simple thing like that. We do not think up to there. Our thinking, no, it's here. So basically, we do not have effective systems of communication, and we don't see a problem. We think, somebody's gonna come up with it. There's no somebody, ladies and gentlemen. We are those somebodies. We must come up with such innovations and innovations. So all those sectors that I've listed, it's core sectors that are running an economy. If you cannot come up with an innovation, take something that exists, innovate it, and bring it back into the economy. As I explained what innovation is, innovate that particular thing and bring it back into the economy. That particular thing is going to create jobs, sustainable ones for that matter. So there's a lot, guys, that we can do. African countries have got. I've recently noticed that most of African countries which are developing like us have talented skills and people with special talent, people who can do things that not many other people can do. But we sort of play with this talent. We sort of, we take it for granted. We don't think it's serious enough, For example, I recently noticed that there's a trend of us, South African guys, not necessarily South African guys, as Africans, we are coming up with innovations, ne? And we're building toys in this sense. I've noticed that on a certain platform, there's a lot of African innovators who are building toys, technological things like small aeroplanes that flies, small toy vehicles that you can operate remotely, trucks, buses, the ones that you can actually sell to young kids to play with. But we don't really know what to do with them. We build and we use recycled material to build such things, but we don't know what to do with them. Instead, we take them and then we go to a place where maybe there's a lot of people gathered, and then we start showcasing them. Small aeroplane, then it flies, then people clap, and then yay, it's nice. Then that's it. It's the end of the story. Guys, that is an economy. That there's money in that thing. What you have there, it's an MVP. It's an complete MVP that works. Takes that thing through the programs that I've shared with you. Take that thing through all those programs. One of the programs going to support that particular innovation. Even though it's not an innovation, it's just something that exists, but you were able to build it with your bare hands. An aeroplane that flies. These guys are building powerful stuff, powerful machines, but with cardboard boxes. I've seen a guy who built a robotic arm. He can control it with his fingers. Like if he whatever that his hand is doing, the robotic arm will also do. Some are guys, you're building amazing stuff, but you don't know what to do with them. You just show them on the social media platform, then people comment, and that's it. I saw one guy asking for donation because he wants to build more. He wants to modify his project. He wants to put some more lights on it. Then he was asking for donation. I was like, my God, you are sitting on gold. Take this thing through certain programs. They're gonna give there's money for this thing. You can open a shop, manufacture these things in numbers and sell these things. What is the difference between this thing and that one that is being sold in that shop where you're buying the actual one that is made of plastic, that has been casted by a machine somewhere? What is the difference? The same thing. But we have that problem. So most of our African countries, our African brothers and sisters have that level of talent, but they don't know what to do with it. And it's a problem for us, ladies and gentlemen. It's a serious problem. So you cannot sit and complain if you are able to build such things. I'm not sure if you guys know about the story between two European guys who visited an African country. They went to this country, and then when they got there, they realized that people in that country, they walk around barefooted. They don't wear shoes. Then the other guy was like, hey, these people are struggling. These people are behind, you know. Then the other guy was like, hey, there's a huge business opportunity here. The fact that these people are walking barefoot, it means there is a huge market for a shoes production business. That's textile. And that guy went back home. He got a couple of things together in place. Then he went back and he started a shoe production business in that country. His shoe label is flourishing now. The other guy who saw African people who were struggling, he's still seeing the same thing even today, that those people in Africa are struggling. The other guy is making money. Same picture, different perspective, you know. So guys, let's not play with such opportunities. Lastly, I'm gonna share a site where you can visit and explore available programs that can support your innovations. Today, what I have is a site called tia.org.za. tia.org.za. Yeah, I think it's tia.org.za. TIA, it's TIA, Technology Innovation Agency. It's a wing. It's an agency of the Department of Science, Innovation, Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, DSTI. So it's a wing of DSTI where you can actually be able to find open calls, apply for whatever call that is open for you and for your innovations and innovations to be supported. It's called tia.org.za, tia.org.za, and then click on open calls. You'll be able to see available calls. Apply for whatever call that is available to support your program. They are looking for young people who can come up with innovations that I've just mentioned in different core sectors that I spoke about. They are looking for all these type of innovations. Guys, the DSI, the DSTI, which is the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, has put millions of rands aside to support us and support these businesses and innovations. Don't take these things for granted. Go into that site and apply. So I think that's all I had for you today. I'll see you again, guys, next week, where I'll be sharing more. I'll start to focus on each core sector that I've mentioned, and then I'll share more information around that. So see you next week. Next week.